They can be found in the ranks of parents and siblings, relatives and friends, educators and administrators, and wherever people have incorporated separatism to such a degree that there is no longer any empathy, compassion, or respect for others. The saddest results are when the ones exploited try to clamp down on their feelings, to the point where their bodies carry the tension of a time bomb. Some victims turn to exploiting others themselves, perhaps out of revenge, or perhaps because they think that's the only way they can get touched. Some, apparently calm and nice people, explode without warning in a furious attack on whoever is nearby. Some live lives of unhappy isolation, fearful of the slightest human contact. Some are healed by compassionate healers, and some even heal themselves. If our society had more safe and acceptable ways of touching and being touched, we might have a lot less despair, violence, and illness to deal with. Well, part of my small contribution toward that goal will be the techniques I share with you now. Self-touch. In the absence of someone else to touch you, the thing to do is touch yourself. Touching benefits your mind and your body because of endorphins and other substances released when your skin is touched, even by yourself. While your body and mind probably have preferred touchers, you can still gain a lot of benefit from touching yourself. So here is a non-sexual, self-touch exercise you can perform alone. By the way, I have nothing against sexual self-touch exercises. I'm just not going to teach you any. Every step will help to relieve a lot of tension. You can do this with or without light clothing. It also has a much better effect if you can do it with a real sense of caring about yourself. Step 1. Start by massaging your scalp or pulling your hair, gently or strongly, your preference. An amazing amount of tension accumulates in your scalp, and because of this, some people find this exercise very pleasurable. Step 2. Place the fingers of each hand along the center of your forehead and drag them outward and across your temples. Drag your fingers down along the sides of your nose, out and across your cheekbones, and down your jawline. Drag from the center outward along your upper and lower lips. Step 3. Massage your ears. Step 4. Massage your hands by dry washing them, and be sure to squeeze each finger. Rub the center of each palm and the area on the back of your hand between the thumb and forefinger. Step 5. Run your hands slowly or quickly over the entire front of your body, right on top of your clothing if you have any on. Step 6. Use a towel to rub the entire backside of your body, again, over any clothing you have on. If you have a so-called Chinese back scratcher, use that too. It's a wonderful device for relieving back tension, even when you don't itch. Step 7. Massage your feet, if you have time, and wash your hands before you eat or touch anyone else. If you don't have time for all of this, you can do a quickie by massaging your arms and hands and giving yourself a fast hug. Huddling. This is great for 2 or more people. It takes us way back to our primitive origins. Some monkeys like to do it for hours. As extremely simple as it sounds, you may expect some mind-blowing and body-boggling experiences, especially if you do it for extended periods. Clothing is optional, so is music and aroma. Version 1. For 2 people. Sit on the floor, supporting each other back to back. Stay there as long as you like, but give it at least 5 minutes to get some effects. You may feel warmth after a short time, of course, and perhaps tingling. Some people will eventually feel waves of energy, relaxation, or pleasure. Version 2. For 2 people. Get into a comfortable mutual holding position on the floor, against a wall, or in a chair. Don't do anything except be comfortable with each other. If you need to move after a while to get more comfortable, do so gently and minimally. In addition to the effects mentioned above, there may also be a sensation of merging with the other, and it's easy to enter a state of dozing or daydreaming. Version 3. For 3 or more people. Use any combination of back-to-back, holding, draping, leg or arm entwining, comfortably close positions, and just be there for a while. Breathe, but don't speak. Move slowly and minimally when you have to. This usually works best on a floor with or without pillows. Go to the bathroom before you start. Besides warmth, tingling, relaxation, pleasure, dozing, daydreaming, and merging, the group experience in particular lends itself to the potential for visionary and blissful experiences. The main benefits from huddling, from the point of view of this program, are physical and emotional healing. Share your experiences afterward. Huddling also tends to stimulate sexual feelings in some people. Depending on who's involved and what the circumstances are, you'll have to judge for yourself what kind of behavior is appropriate. Just remember that it's possible to experience sexual feelings without doing anything about them. Stay relaxed and just let them be there, and enjoy them without obligation. The sexual energy itself can be very healing for the body. Healing hands. People often tell me that they think they have healing power, or that a psychic has told them they have healing power, and they ask me what they can do about it. I usually tell them to start healing. Everyone has healing power. Not only is everyone's body constantly engaged in healing itself, often in spite of all the things a person may be doing to interfere with it, but everyone has the power to help others heal themselves too, right now, this minute, without any fancy rituals. Rituals are good. They have authority, and they can convince unknowing or uncertain people that they have the power and the right to start helping others. There's nothing wrong with that. People also have the right to charge whatever they think they or their services are worth, and people have the right to pay whatever they think a person or a service is worth. No problem so far. My only beef is when people think they can't or are not allowed to heal without a ritual or someone else's permission. The fact is, if you're human, you can heal. This is a program for humans, by the way. If you're an animal or a plant or a rock or a star, you need to be listening to a different tape. Of course, as with anything, some people are naturally better at healing than others, but everyone has the talent to some degree. It's easy to say that everyone has the ability to heal. How do I prove it? Well, I don't have to prove it to you. You can prove it to yourself with a few experiments. First, rub the palms of your hands together and hold your hands with your palms facing each other about 6 to 8 inches apart. You should be aware of a tingling sensation from the rubbing. But now, move your hands toward each other in a slightly bouncy kind of way, as if you were thinking about clapping, but couldn't make up your mind whether to do it or not. Pay attention to anything you may feel with your palms. If you're like most people, you will feel a slight sensation of resistance, as if you were squeezing a soft balloon or pushing similar poles of two magnets together. This is an energy field you are feeling, and it's what some healers use for healing. Second, line up 3 glasses of orange, grapefruit, or apple juice, 3 cups of coffee or tea, or 3 glasses of Chablis wine. You could use plain water for this, but the experimental results are more definite when something has a bit of bite to it. Rub your hands together and then hold one of the cups or glasses in your hands for 1 or 2 minutes. Then taste the liquid. Then taste the liquid in the other 2 containers. Taste the first one again. Notice any difference? You have just healed the liquid. Typically, the healed liquid has less bite or bitterness. It becomes more mellow. Some people think it tastes sweeter. Some don't think that the change is an improvement. The next time you're around someone who has an ache or a pain and who is willing to let you experiment on them, rub your hands till they tingle and just lay them on the person's sore area for a minute or 2. You'll get much better results if you keep your attention on what you're doing. I know that some systems teach that the energy just flows through you, so you can let your mind wander, but energy flows where attention goes, and your hands will have more energy if you stay focused. If the person experiences any relief at all, the experiment is a success. And by employing the following techniques, you can amp up the power of this kind of healing touch. Humming. Something that works very well is the combination of sound and touch. All you have to do is hum while your hands are touching yourself or someone else. That's right, just hum while you touch. To get a direct sense of what the effect is, hold your palms apart and facing without rubbing them first. Now hum. In addition to the vibration in your body, you will feel a tingling in your hands and perhaps even the soft pressure sensation between them. Wherever you have aches or pains or places that need healing, you can put your hands or fingers on them and hum your way to health. Actually, it will help to relieve tension and speed up your body's natural healing process faster than touch alone. You can experiment with humming high notes or low notes or even your favorite tunes. I found that the effect is stronger if you keep your attention on where your hands are touching while you hum. The effect is also stronger when you hum with your mouth closed, because this produces a stronger vibration within your body, which transfers more energy to your hands. Mumbling mode. A variation on humming is mumbling. Mumbling is speaking with your mouth closed and your lips moving, and it produces an effect like humming with the added benefit of subliminal suggestion. When you apply your fingers or hands to an area of the body for healing, instead of humming, you mumble affirmations, blessings, or directions. I did this in a taxi for a friend who had sudden stomach cramps, and in about 3 minutes, she was fine again. It's a very handy technique for all kinds of situations. I use it on my own neck and shoulders when I'm at the computer for too long, and often, right afterward, I just turn my neck and my spine adjusts itself. It's also great for easing sore muscles after a workout and relieving your own headaches. However, be aware that some people may be distracted or irritated by the mumbling and will not respond well to it. Blanket forgiveness. Blanket forgiveness is an awesome healing technique that uses both touch and words. It is awesome because it works so quickly, and it is awesome because you don't even have to know whom you are forgiving for it to work. It is based on an assumption that any physical condition involving swelling or infection also contains an emotional component of repressed anger or guilt. Notice that I didn't say it was caused by emotions, just that it can be useful to assume that emotions are involved in causing at least some of the stress that is maintaining or aggravating the condition. If you can relieve the emotional tension, it will help the body heal more quickly. The actual technique is very simple. With your hand or fingers, you lightly touch the area that needs healing, while at the same time, you repeat the words, "Whatever this is related to, I forgive it completely." Do this for as long as you can, or until you get some relief. It's likely that you'll feel various sensations as you do this, such as tingling, or movement, or relaxation, and maybe even pain relief. The more that anger or guilt is connected with the condition, the more quickly and dramatically you will experience healing effects. Even if angry emotions are only a small part of the malady, there will be some degree of benefit. As I said, you don't have to know consciously who or what the emotions are directed at. Just holding the idea of forgiveness while touching the infected or swollen area is enough to cause subconscious changes that will ease a lot of stress. The touch itself provides a certain amount of energy, as well as helping to keep your mind focused on forgiving. Of course, if you do know who or what you are resenting or feeling guilty about, then forgiving him or her or it can make the technique even more effective. The most astounding personal experience I had with this technique was when I woke up one day with an abscessed tooth and extreme tension in my jaw. My teeth were so sensitive that I could barely close my mouth because the slightest touch of my upper and lower teeth set off waves of pain. Obviously, this called for a trip to the dentist, and even though I had a good one in mind, I decided to try something else first. To begin with, I assumed that there was anger involved. Then I asked myself with whom I might be angry. Immediately, a woman came to mind who had reneged on an important commitment the day before. I thought I had handled it with peaceful forbearance, but my body was now telling me that all I had done was to suppress my anger. So, very gently, I placed one finger against the place on my jaw where the swelling of the abscess was most tender, and began to repeat my forgiveness affirmation, directing it toward the woman in question. As I recall, the phrasing was something like, "Whatever so-and-so did or didn't do, I forgive her completely." The reaction was so sudden that even I was stunned. The pain immediately began to ease off, and I could feel the swelling start to lessen. Within 30 minutes, there was no trace of an abscess nor any pain or tenderness. It was as if the condition had never existed. So my dentist didn't get my business that day, but I eventually used his services for other things. Although knowing whom or what it is that needs forgiving is not really necessary, there is a way to narrow down the choices. Because of deep cross-cultural associations, many people around the world make a conscious or subconscious relationship between women and the left side of the body and men and the right side of the body. It's very useful from a healing point of view to assume that problems on the left side of the body have an emotional component that relates to women in one's life, and problems on the right side have to do with men. I have also found that an emotional conflict with a strong woman may be part of problems on the right side, and similar conflicts with a meek man may be part of problems on the left side. If you're working on a physical problem on one side of your body or the other, let your mind play with the idea that your relationship with a man or woman might be involved on the appropriate side, and see what comes up. In any case, consider the possibility that emotional conflict, usually anger or resentment, is at least partly involved in a problem you might have, and try to relieve that before you go on to other healing methods. At the very least, it will help to make any other method you use more effective. Enjoy the wonders of touch. It is one of the most powerful of all healing modalities in any form it takes, from a handshake to a hug to a full-body massage. There is the effect of exchanging energy, of course, but even more important is the way in which touch serves as the bridge between beings. In a world where ideas of separation have such great influence, touch becomes the surest way of making connections. A healing touch, empowered by love and compassion, becomes a means to greater awareness and a source of joy for the reacher and the reached. The powers of words, imagination, and touch have this in common. They each produce physical, emotional, or mental changes, and therefore they each produce a movement of energy. Healing is a process of making changes in the body, the feelings, and the mind. Instant healing is simply a way of making those changes more quickly. Whenever there is change, energy is involved, and there are ways of working more directly with energy in order to produce those changes. We will now shift our primary focus to the movement of energy. Before I look at specific applications of energy to the instant healing process, it would be useful to take a closer look at energy itself. What is energy? Humans are conditioned to think of matter as something solid, and so it is sometimes very hard to get away from the idea that the smallest bits of matter must be solid somethings. It is even harder to get away from the idea that energy is a something. Energy is defined in physics as the capacity to do work, that is, the property of one system that enables it to influence another system.